Dr. P here with the obvious question when we're talking about contracts. Do you need a lawyer? Well, this depends primarily on how much money you think you might make. Because if it's a typical contract for a little video game or for a tabletop game, you're not going to make much money, especially nowadays, especially in the days of the pandemic, but even before that. So I've never used a lawyer. I've negotiated a lot of contracts, but they never seemed to be worth enough money that a lawyer was worthwhile. Furthermore, the second question is, can you find a lawyer who actually has a clue about game contracts? Because if you don't, that lawyer is not likely to help you much. In fact, I can give examples of contracts that were written by people who are not in games, game contracts that were just horrible, just unacceptable. So, you have to decide those things. Now, I'm not a lawyer, and so I can't give legal advice, but I'll tell you what I have done is whenever I'm at a convention and there's a lawyer talking about game contracts or other subjects related to games, I go and attend and I listen and I make sure I absorb what the lawyer says. But I've done that enough years that I'm not likely to do it much more because I'm not going to learn anything more. Now, I would have benefited from good advice in my early contracts, but it would have been good advice from somebody who was familiar with contracts of that sort, and there was no such person around. Nor, again, would it have been worth the fees involved, I don't believe. Game lawyers were very rare in 1970-something or 1980, of course. Even now, game lawyers are quite rare unless you happen to live in a city that has a number of video game studios in it so that there's enough clientele for that lawyer to be able to specialize in games. Now, there are online people who do it now, Zachary Strebeck and other people. And if you're nervous about things, you might want to consult somebody like that. It's a question of how much risk you want to take. Thanks for listening.